right, folks, we had a world exclusive. We had the chance to ask Eric July of the Rippaverse his opinion about Barbie dolls. No, we're asking him about the Barbie movie, and you are not going to believe his take on what it means for the culture war at large. Hang tight, folks. This is a big one. Here we go. And welcome back to another wonderful day, a video of excellence here on the WDW Pro channel, where each and every one of you out there, you are the gigawatts that power this channel. You are the electricity, and we are so thankful for you. If you wouldn't mind to, consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Yes, indeed do. We had Eric July on with us, and we chatted about this Barbie phenomenon. The film is taking off even in the second weekend. Many people have been waiting to see, would it be able to sustain its momentum, taking off on the box office in the first weekend, but the second weekend was a big question mark. Well, it's a question mark no more. It's holding strong. Are women truly supporting this film at the fervor level necessary, though, to sustain it in comparison to general audience movies? That's what we asked one Eric July, and folks, you don't want to miss it. Here we go. We want to do something right now that I think is a world exclusive. So let's go ahead and put Eric in the hot seat real quick. Eric, you've been on all kinds of media. You've been on networks. You've been everywhere. You've been asked all kinds of hard questions. But as far as I know, I will be the very first person to query you about Barbie dolls. So thank you for being here for that experience. Eric, now that you're here on the hot seat, the pink seat for Barbies, I got to know, when it comes to item number 3, are you going to have the takeaway, the lesson that Hollywood will probably learn? And will you attempt to smash the patriarchy with future comic books, or do you think that there's something else at play with Barbie that might not translate to our favorite franchises such as yours?
Well, I'll say this. I obviously don't have any plans to completely drive away my core customer base like that. But things are intriguing, man. I do think that Kara brings up a great point with this whole Barbie reception, and with it being a bait and switch, how it's going to do relatively okay or well or whatever it is that you want to call it. I do think that it putting the tag of it being something that is already geared more so towards women, it makes it a lot easier pill to swallow. Definitely with that demographic being the who dominates. Like, this is what probably 70-80%, female to, maybe 20-30 to male ratio. So, that's generally who would accept that as or again, digest that as far as a narrative. When it often enters into media that is often dominated by men, is when you get the reception that it is, because that's not anything it is that people it's just an immediate turnoff. So I don't think that, I know there's been people that have talked about this and they've looked at it like, well, this shows that we'd have a long way to go. And I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. That we certainly have a ways to go in order to try to correct the course and getting really media and entertainment back where it needs to be. But I do think this is going to be more of an anomaly than something that is of the norm, because we'll forget about this the minute the Marvels comes out and it does whatever the hell it's going to do.
Which is nothing.
Which is nothing, exactly. So once that does that, I think everybody kind of chill out and it'll get back to normal. But what Hollywood, I guess, is showing you that if you are to go with those narratives, even of let's say standard social justice, authoritarian leftism, you're better off placing that in something that has a brand or an established brand that is geared towards women in order for it to land. That's your best shot. That's not to say that it's a guarantee either, because they've laid some duds there as well. You get these real female oriented stuff and then nobody goes and sees the so that happens as well every now and then. But this is the formula. If you can funnel that stuff through a Barbie, then you make it work financially.
As we're looking at the demographics for this movie, this thing is spectacularly heavy-handed on 35 and under individuals going to see it. It's something approaching 80% or greater that is now 35 and under. And the percentage of women who are going to see it continues to rise, now approaching 70%. Now, that means that this movie has to ride on the shoulders of a very narrow demographic, women who are 35 and under, essentially. There'll be some older women. But I think that as men have learned what this movie is about, and I think everyone agrees this is not a movie for men. There's not a single positive male character in the movie.
Not unless you're just hyped to look at Margot Robbie.
Not straight.
Right, or if you'd like to be
I would understand.
Castigated and castrated at the same time. But the situation here is that women are going to have to support this at a much higher volume than other franchises, because let's take a Star Wars film. What happens with Star Wars when it's successful, which has been a while? Well, the whole family goes to see it. When it comes to Barbie, though, you've got a very narrow scope of individuals who have to go see it over and over again to carry it. But that's happening. Don't
underestimate the gay audience, though, too. Especially after.
I think I read today that there was somebody
Invasion.
who had gone to see it like 3 or 4 times. I think I read.
So here's the question, then, based on all that. Here's the question: Is the political and worldview of this very small group so different than the general audience that this is unleashing a fervor out of these people who are supporting Barbie as sort of a movement kind of movie? What do you all think about that?
That's a tough one. I mean, I could see that. Putting it that way, I certainly could see that. It's just that if I'm a businessman, I'm nervous as hell going after that demographic because they're flaky. I think we just being completely honest.
It's true. It's so true.
Fickle as hell. Yes.
They're full. I mean, again, man, like when you hit, I guess you hit, but you can lay a dud, man. That would not be or let's say it's you taking heavy risk, more risk than you would probably with any other audience going after that. I mean, look, if Barbie proves anything, maybe there's a demographic, but I mean, can you do that consistently? Probably not. I don't think it is that you can, again, because how many more brands are like that? I mean, it's Barbie. It's stuff that everybody knows to be associated with women, and definitely, you enter that age group of, like you say, 35 years and younger. That's the girls that were playing with Barbies that were my age. You know what I mean? Like that. That's all them going to see that. Going to see that. I don't know if they have. I mean, there's probably some other brands, but none of them carry like Barbie. Barbie's like iconic, right? So I think we also have to factor that into it as well when trying to analyze that. There's not a whole lot of Barbies around. Like, that's a very unique situation. A brand that is as massive as it is, that is geared towards women, and that's something that they can attach to. But there's not a whole lot of other ones. So if you do the same thing, I believe you could have had the same exact format, even in the plot, and had that detached from like a name like Barbie. That's dead on arrival. Like so
you don't think Lena Dunham doing Polly Pocket's going to work then?
Right. No. That's the question that we're asking.
I have zero interest in seeing anything Lena Dunham is attached to.
Definitely.
That is a real.
That's what Hollywood is going to learn. That's the takeaway Hollywood is going to have. Hollywood's going to say, we've got to send out ultra feminist Clueless. We've got to send out ultra feminist Legally Blonde. That's what they're going to determine from this film. Am I wrong? That
was the first lesson. No, and we saw that yesterday when they announced all these other movies coming out here. Like Viewmaster the movie and Uno the movie, which we already know the sequel is going to be called Dose because it's going to be one big dose all over everything.
I believe they own the rights to Dose as well. Are you wanting to put this on the screen?
Well,
here,
I was just going to say, because here's the problem: is now that they're owning the fact that the movie's woke, is that going to change anything? I wonder. But this individual, of course, deleted their tweet because they got a little heat for this. Because I'm sure, they don't want the word getting out there that they're confirming that it is such. But yeah,
well, but this is what we predicted. Actually, we said in the last few days that the spin would now become that go woke, go broke is dead.
All right, let them do it.
Yeah. So, but that will only lead them to make poor decisions.
That's what's going to happen if they're that stupid and they think, well, instead of looking at it rationally, which will be a lot had to go right for this to work. If they're looking at it like, okay, this type of narrative is generally just going to work anywhere, and they're going to double and triple down. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going to make a lot of money doing videos making fun of these idiots, because that's a recipe for disaster. So
we're begging them. We're begging
they're
them.
not very bright people, Eric. They always.
That's exactly. I mean,
yeah.
it will. You're right. I mean, yeah, they're going to take that away from it. They're going to look at it. Definitely, these executives, especially the ones with neon colored hair, they're going to look at that and they're going to say, okay, this is what people want,
right.
And we're able to kind of shove this narrative in if we package it in this way. But like I said, there's not a whole lot of Barbies out there as far as like a brand that they could probably get away with that, where people, number one, are going to give it a time of day. It's iconic. It transcends almost part of American culture. Like there's not a whole lot of other brands that they got that slanted that much to women, where they could just throw that out there. And if they are, then those are the ones that are going to see success. But if they think they can just start crapping out movies that are of that ilk, just attaching anything to it, especially if they go back and double down on, okay, we're going to take the more male-oriented stuff or centric stuff like comic book-based characters and superheroes, then yeah, we're gonna be in for another half decade of just absolute duds.
Yeah.
So let's pretend
Mattel is definitely a woke company. They've got that Laverne Cox Barbie doll. They've got they've got the RuPaul's Drag Race Little People collection. They are 100% a woke company. So they're ecstatic to have their beliefs confirmed.
And I don't know if it matters or not, but it was, I guess, the same people who do the advertising for RuPaul's drag show actually did the advertising campaign for Barbie, I heard.
Well, they're smarter than than I give them credit for.
They did a great job. They did a good job hiding it all. I mean,
the
movie works for what it is. I'm not going to say that, but
Yeah, they've also announced an American Girl doll movie is on that list. And American Girl doll, they're publishing books under that banner that are all talking about, don't talk to your parents about your gender transition or anything like that. Find someone you can trust to get your puberty blockers. So like Mattel, especially American Girl, because that's one of those traditional heritage brands right there. So, it's kind of insidious what they're doing over there. So
Eric's right though. Barbie is an anomaly though, because we've seen Gem and the holograms crash. We've seen there's been a few other ones, Josie and the Pussycats, and some other female driven toys, and Bratz. I was trying to think of the other one. Bratz was the other one that came out a couple of years ago, and that didn't do nearly that well either. But Bratz at that time was outselling Barbie dolls, right? Because Barbie dolls hit an all-time low in 2014 for sales.
Right,
they were getting beat out by Bratz and Monsters High and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that social stigma against liking a Barbie, because Barbie, on some level, is supposed to represent femininity. And culturally, they don't want to admit that they like pretty women. They'll have a man dress up like a pretty woman, but they don't like to put a pretty woman front and center.
No, but Eric's right. A lot of the audience that's going to see this is the older demographic that grew up with Barbie. And there's got to be some of the woke people that are really supporting this as well. And, it is what it is. Hopefully it falls off, but I don't think it's going to. This weekend, there's no competition whatsoever for it, really.
All right, and that is a wrap for today. That's the conversation with Eric July, but the commentary begins. Drop a comment down below. Tell us your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And folks, remember that you can catch conversations just such as that by joining the Pro Show live Thursdays 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time each and every Thursday. Members, you also get access to archives of every single Pro Show we've ever done. For everyone else, they're up for 48 hours after release, and then they go poof, bye-bye. That's one thing we don't think is going to happen with the revenues for the Barbie movie. They're not going poof, bye-bye. No. We're going to get far more Mattel probably in the future. Are you ready for Polly Pocket? Well, I don't know. But folks, one thing we are ready for is click the like button, share, subscribe. And wherever you are, whatever you're doing, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.